All right, this is Atlas's 29th session, and we're going to be in the round pen again. And he just wants to trot off to the gate here. That's fine. He's thinking he'd like to go out the gate. He'd like to go back to his pasture maybe. And then he thinks, okay, we're just going to trot around and like do a round pen session. And I want to draw him in here instead and just have him just hang out so we can connect a bit. I don't like to just go in the round pen and just immediately start chasing the horse and round penning the horse, because you're in the round pen, so you got to do a round pen exercise. That's not what I use the round pen for. I like to do some round penning, yes, but you don't want to get in the habit of immediately getting your horse in there and then chasing him. And that's with anything, like when you're first saddling too. You don't want to just, okay, the saddle's on, now let's chase him around, because now they're going to think every time it's on I need to run around. We just don't want to put that kind of pattern in there, especially like a running pattern or a tension pattern where they think that that's what they have to do all the time. So I'm just going to take a minute, hang out with Atlas. I'm just going to pet him on the face, make sure he's good. Like, how's he thinking? Is he spooky today? You know, where's he at mentally? And then I'm going to go on with the lesson. And then I'm going to do some round penning, but I just want to work on some other stuff too. And we're going to yield the hindquarters, move his shoulders, work on the draw, which he really needs to work on, because he'll do the turn in, but he won't draw as much. And then some desensitizing and some other things. But I like having the round pen. It's a good tool to just teach all those things, because he can be at liberty without going too far away. So he can feel that freedom and he's not being trapped and restricted, but yet he can't go too far for me. So that's why I like the round pen. So I'm just going on each side of him, making sure he's okay with me, just kind of seeing where he's at. Like, does he want me to come around? Will he let me pet him? And just kind of seeing where he's at for today. I'm just going to work on some draw first, and his first reaction is like, no, I'm going to go away. So for today, his first reaction to some pressure is to leave. He didn't leave very much. Like, he just walked off and then came back in, which is good. So he could have just ran off or trotted off or something like that. So this is nice. He's yielded his hindquarters, looked at me. He is going back to his stress grazing like he did last time, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm not going to let him graze as much. So you have to put some pressure on him. See, he's like, if I can't graze, then I'm just going to leave and trot off. So I'm just going to keep that pressure there until he rolls around. I'll put my sticks down. I'm just saying, this is not the answer for him trotting away. This is not the answer for him eating the grass. The answer is right here when you face me, and I'll put those sticks down. So just let him stand there, and then just have him hang out for a second. And I'm going to go yield the hindquarters. That was pretty good. He didn't step across as much, but he's facing me, and he's not stress grazing and trying to pretend I'm not there, so that's good. Just let him. I just want to have like a pause between everything, because I want him to do something and then pause, and then do something and then pause, so he doesn't get in this mindset where he has to do, go, and then he's just always kind of on edge or a little hot. We don't want that. So yield his hindquarters again. Go on this side. He's blocking me out here, which is fine. I'm gonna yield this side then and just bring him back. There we go. And then I'm gonna go back around and work on this side, the right side. See if he'll do that. He wants to leave instead. I'm just gonna follow him, and I'm gonna block him with my right whip here, right there, draw him in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and still ask for that hindquarter yield. And there, he's just blocking me. I'm going to go, I want to make some space here and see if I can get around his shoulder, and then keep asking. So I'm going to block here with that right whip in front of his drive line. There we go. Like that. He drew off here. So then I'm going to ask, I'm going to keep asking here. I'm like, what you're doing is not the right answer. So I'm going to continue asking and trying to hold that pressure while he moves until he gives me the correct answer. So he really wants to just see me in that left eye. You could tell when I was petting him earlier he wanted to do that, where he got stiffer. There we go. He's kind of, well, then he decides to leave. So I'm like, all right, well, if you'd like to leave, then we can leave. And can tell by his little head toss there, like he's like, I don't want to go. Nope, not very fun for him. So he really kind of fought me on going around his right side with the hindquarter yield. He really wanted to block me out. He only wanted to see me in that left eye. For whatever reason. Like, usually they're going to do two things. So they want you to be in this eye because they're afraid to see you in the other eye, or they're just like, I prefer this and this is what I want, and then they'll just continue to put you over there. And I wasn't forceful with him, and I didn't ask him. I just want to make an inside turn here, and he wants to go the other way. There we go. And I'm not trying to put a ton of pressure on him. He's getting wound up on his own. I just want him to go for a little canter because he wants to long trot and kind of toss his head and kind of jump around instead of just get into the trot. And then when he does get into the trot, he wants to just kind of run, and I just want him to move gently. See, now he's like stopping and like, okay, I can stop now. I'll give you 2 eyes now. So, and I'm like, no, like, let's just do a little bit of round pen work, and then I'll go back to what I was working on. But I want that inside turn there on my terms. So I backed up and asked him to do that inside turn. I'm not like, okay, well, he's doing it like right there. I just sent him back out. So again, for that blocking me out on that one side when I'm doing the hindquarter yield, he doesn't want to get into the canter. So I got to put more energy on him. Both the Mustangs do this. They just want a long trot, and they're just like, I don't want a canter. So we've worked on that cantering quite a bit. But I don't like that they're blocking because they're either afraid or they're being a little pushy, and neither of those things are what we want. So we're just going to fix that. So I'm just going to work with him a little bit here, and I got to tap him on the butt because he doesn't want to trot or canter. So I'm asking him here. I'm like, canter, 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 canter. Still won't canter until I actually have to walk up there. And then immediately he stops and wants to turn in. So I'm just going to try and ask for that hindquarter yield here. There we go. Or not for the hindquarter yield, for the inside turn. Ask for the canter. There he goes, a little bit better. I'm asking here, I have to like do a little jog step because he doesn't want to get into it. So that part's like, this round pen work is a little messy. This is his 3rd session. So it doesn't look perfect, and he's a Mustang. He's not going to get into the canter and like lope off perfectly. Some of them might, but probably not. Your quarter horses are going to have your nice little lopes and stuff like that. They're probably not, but this will come with time. So then I'm just going to give him a little rest break here and just hang out. He can rest looking at me with both eyes. And then after his little rest break, I'm going to go back to asking what I ended off doing, which was yielding the hindquarters on that one side. So he's still blocking me. He's getting that left eye in front of me. So I'm just going to go all the way around. And he just barely took a step over. I'm going to let him stand here. And there he's going to lick and chew and shake his head and really come down from that worry. So let him look at me while he's licking and chewing. So since he's up against this gate, I'm just going to ask for that other hindquarter yield, which was really good. That was nice. So I'm just going to be like, remember, this is all I wanted was a hindquarter yield. That's all we were looking for. I don't want to round pen him a lot, though. I don't want to just try and ask for something and then he doesn't do it and then I immediately round pen him, because then he's going to think, oh, if I don't do something, I need to immediately go into that worry state. So there, that was better. He's not blocking me out. He's not doing a perfect hindquarter yield there. He's blocking me a little bit. He's just tipping that nose toward me instead of just letting me go around there. There we go. He crossed over there and allowed me to go on that side a little bit. But I don't want to just immediately go to, okay, well, you don't want to do this, so I'm going to chase you around a little bit. I want to ask multiple times, and if I'm getting the wrong answer or not, he's not really trying, then I'm going to ask a different way, or I'm going to have him kind of move around and do something else, and then we'll come back to it. It doesn't have to be round penning. This is just something else we needed to work on at the time. So there, he still is blocking me out in that little section right there, but it's a little bit better. So I'm gonna let him sit here for a second. But if he is blocking you out a lot, I would, like what he's doing here, I'm trying to get that right side. Then if he's blocking you out, keeping you on his left, I would yield that left hand side hindquarters and go back to the right. And then for this too, I'd also use some positive reinforcement to help him out. So he's really good on this left side. He's fine with that. And then, there we go. That was pretty decent. He didn't block me out. He just stepped right over to the right. So that was good. Same thing right there. Very nice. I'm like, that's all I wanted. I just wanted a hindquarter yield. But they don't know what it is at first. And this is his third session. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. It's going to be a little bit messy in the beginning. So at this time, I was just kind of just experimenting, seeing what works, what doesn't work. And then now I would be using positive reinforcement for this. So I could really show him, like, okay, when I asked you to do that hindquarter yield like he did a couple times, I would give him a treat and click for that. So now after he's kind of ran around and we've done some intense stuff, we're going to work on some desensitizing. So I'm just going to have him just touch the lunge line. It's going to act as a target, and just kind of work on that and have it rub his face and then go away. So we're going to approach and retreat with the lunge whip. But again, as I was saying with the positive reinforcement while I desensitize here, I can really point out what I want him to do. And I just wanted to this is all an experiment, especially with these horses. Like, I've not had Mustangs before, and I've only used the positive and negative reinforcement training method that I use on domestic horses. So I'm just kind of playing with it, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Now that I'm voicing it over a little bit later, then I'm like, okay, I would use this to just make it a little bit clearer for my horse. So I started desensitizing him with the lunge whip on his head. Then I'm going to work my way down his neck, and I'll just work my way down and back through the rest of his body. And then I'm just going to keep rubbing on his neck until he shows me a sign of relaxing. So he's going to blink his eyes, lick his lips, blow his nose, lower his head. I'm also going to, like, if he kind of gets a little shut down and is just, or just like frozen and just stays there, if he starts moving his ears or like moving his eyes a little bit, then I'll take it away too. If your horse is not frozen, then I wouldn't do that. But just so we don't get a shut down horse. So again, I'm going to work my way back and then just hang out there until he's relaxed, and then I'll take it away. And then I pause, give him a minute to think about it, and then I'll go back in there. And I just keep doing this over and over again, working my way down on both sides. So now I've gotten close down to his withers here. I'm going to rub here till he relaxes. And then I'll retreat. So now I've worked my way a bit further back down on his belly. I'm just going to keep rubbing here until he relaxes a little bit. There, he wants to back up. That's all right. I'm just going to kind of go with him. There, and he stops moving, so I'll go away. So if your horse starts to move a little bit, try and stay with them if they're just kind of moving a little bit like Atlas did here. And then when he stops, you stop, take it away. If the horse just runs away and leaves, that's all right. Draw them back and then just work your way back to that point again. It's okay if they leave. It's not a big deal. He's just telling you he's not comfortable with it. It's not personal or anything. Now you just have something to work on. I'm going to work on his legs here. So once I kind of do the top line of the horse, we can work on his legs a little bit. So there he got a little worried. He was like, I don't really want to. So I just healed his hindquarters. Not a big deal. It's okay. And then just let him go back to the beginning. Let him target it with his nose. Let him touch it. And then work my way back again. It's not a big deal if the horse leaves. He's just telling you he's not comfortable with what you're doing at that moment. That's fine. which I'd much rather have him loose at liberty in the round pen and tell me with just leaving versus he feel trapped and tell me with just fighting and biting and kicking. We don't want that. We don't want to activate that fight system. So I would like him to tell me that he's not comfortable by just leaving, because then neither of us get hurt. So then we just go back to the beginning, let him target it, work my way down his face, work my way down his neck, and then work my way down to the place where he was afraid. And then if I had some positive reinforcement when I get back to that place where he was afraid, I'd click it. As soon as my whip touches there, take it away and feed him a treat. So that's how I'm going to build up his confidence, by allowing him to leave. He's not trapped. And then by giving him a reward when he lets me touch the place that he's worried about. I've worked my way down to his hip here, and I'll take it away when he relaxes. It's very step by step, working my way down, not a big deal, but I'm not gonna just skip it and like, okay, he was fine with his shoulder, so I'm just gonna run right to his hip or his hind legs. I wanna go through all the places, okay, he's good, move on to the new place. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time, obviously, but having your horse be able to accept touch everywhere is very important. So I don't want to skip this step and just rush through it. So I'm going to fast forward through the desensitizing so it's not super boring and slow, but you can see what's going on and then follow those steps. So there he got a little worried again, and he's going to leave. That's fine. So I'm just going to draw him back. We're not going to chase. I'm not going to encourage him. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, if you want to run, run. Because then he's going to run every single time and be like, no, we're going to stop. Because I want him to do the opposite. So if he's thinking, oh, I'm going to run away, I'm like, no, we're just going to stand, relax, and desensitize. If he's thinking he's stuck and he's sticky and he doesn't want to move, then I'm going to ask him to go forward. So I'm always balancing him out. You don't just be aggressive and make him run because you're mad. You got to even the horse out. He's thinking run, that's not the time to have him round pen and do stuff. It's okay. Like, if he leaves, it's not a big deal. He's just telling you something. It's not a screw you or anything like that. He's afraid. He doesn't like that being touched there with the whip. It scares him. He's just trying to leave. That's not a big deal. I'm going to go back and I'm going to start again. It's not a big deal. I mean, this horse is 2. Like, this is going to be his whole life, so it's not a big deal. Sensitize the space a little bit. I hadn't really worked on his forehead, so I wanted to touch him with the whips there. Okay, now we're gonna work on moving the shoulders over. So I'm gonna raise my whip up, and then at an angle here, I might use the other one and just kind of push that shoulder away from me. He doesn't know what that means, so he's trying to figure it out. There, he just took one step over. So it wasn't perfect. It wasn't him on his hindquarters and just stepping those front feet around, but he did take that one step over with his left front foot. So I'm gonna reward that. Let go of my whips and the energy and just rub on him. Then I'll ask him again, same way. He kind of leaned his weight that way. We'll take that. This is just the beginning, so it's not going to be perfect. I give him a minute, do some desensitizing, and then we'll start again. But especially Atlas, he likes that where I just step back, give him a second, and then go back to work. So that seems to work really well for him. I'm going to ask him again. There was a nice step over to the side again. So it's in the right direction, so we'll take it. And again, do some desensitizing with the whips. Just nice and casual. I'm just rubbing him with the whips, just like he's, a regular horse. I'm not sneaking around him or doing anything crazy. Okay, ask him again. Get a little bit closer, kind of use my energy to push him over. There we go. Okay, I'll ask him again. I'm just gonna desensitize a little bit. So I'm just gonna walk away, have him draw toward me. That was really good. Because he went from a standstill into a couple of steps of draw, so we'll take that. Because before he'd really have to use a lot of energy in order to go forward, but he didn't this time, so that was pretty good. Go in there and rub him again. And I'm gonna ask on this side. Wants to back up, I'm just gonna keep following him, keep following him. Following him. He's yielding his hindquarters. He's blocking me out. There we go. And I don't care if he trots off. He did what I asked him to do. I'm just gonna bring him back. He did have a nice turn though. He sat back on his hindquarters and turned. I didn't want him to leave, but that's okay. He did what I wanted. So we'll just go back, desensitize a bit, and then I'll ask him again. There, he stepped over. Good. And that time he didn't leave, so we're making some progress. Go ahead and desensitize him again. Rub him on the neck here. Ask him again. There, he moves over. Desensitize. Especially with him, I'm going to desensitize a lot since he wants to just be worried about the whips and kind of run away. So I'm going to make sure that he's cool with them. To ask them to move, but they're not going to hurt him or scare him. They're just there to touch him. Just to guide him. Ask him again. I'm just kind of raise my whips up, create some movement there. There we go. And then just immediately let go and let him relax. So if he wants to graze there, that's fine. I'll let him graze for a minute. Ask him again. Good. That was a nice step. He's really reached over with that right front leg. And desensitize him again. Back up, let him have a minute. I like to just do some desensitizing. Go to the other side, do some desensitizing. So I'm trying to mix it up so he's not always on to me and like, oh, she's gonna make me move my shoulders here. Then she's gonna make me do this over here. I want him to just always have some variety there. So into the other side, and then I desensitize first and then ask him to move his shoulders over. So I just want him to kind of be focused on me, paying attention and not anticipating too much. I want him to anticipate a little bit and to be like, okay, this is what I'm asking, but not completely do something else that I'm not asking. And so I was desensitizing there, and I had my hand up. So like that's what I was angling the whips to kind of push his shoulder over, and then I was desensitizing with my whip in the same place so he's not worried about it. So every time I lift my arm up, he's not thinking move, so I can balance that out. That's what all the desensitizing is for. I'm just doing some more desensitizing on this right side here, because we didn't work on it as much as the left side, because I kind of started there and then it took a little bit to get through. So we're just going to work on this side for a bit. But it's good because I'm going in there desensitizing, waiting till he relaxes, taking it away, and then he's going right back and relaxing. He's not really holding on to that tension a whole lot, so that's really nice. So then we're doing multiple things here. I'm working on approaching him and retreating. I'm working on touching all the different areas on him, and then he knows when I do retreat, like, I'm not gonna stay there forever. Like, I'm gonna leave and it'll be all right. So by doing this, I get to come up to him many, many, many times, so then he's not worried when I come up to him. Because some horses, especially wild ones, will just be worried with just the approach of a person. So it's really important that he does this, and it's kind of doing two things at once, and we're just kind of taking care of that now. But again, I'm just working my way back toward his hip here. We just started up at his face, and then we're working our way down, and I have my hand in different positions. I have it up above him, and then we work it down to touch his legs, and just kind of move the whips all over so he's not worried about touch on him. And this is just setting the groundwork for me touching with my hand. And there he's going to draw toward me really well. That was nice. I'm going to ask him to steer a little bit and follow me. So I'm going to ask him I'm trying to ask him to go forward with that longer white whip in my right hand. And he was just kind of looking at me. There we go. Now that was some nice draw. So I'm trying to create a little bit of energy with that longer whip and then have him follow me. He's a little apprehensive, but he's going forward. So I'm just trying to create that energy, push his hindquarters over to kind of start him. There we go. And then kind of but direct the energy with my black whip in my right hand and get him to kind of funnel toward me. And he's going forward and he's kind of leaving now, so I'm just going to open up my whips and try and draw him toward me by backing up. So then I'm going to step forward, push the hindquarters toward me, and then back up and try and draw that energy toward me. So it's always like, it's kind of like a flow. I go toward him, ask him to go forward, and kind of create an energy behind him, and then I'm going to draw him toward me once he has that energy. Then he's going to leave. I'm just going to keep following with that pressure, and then once he turns and follows me, I'm going to let it go and draw him toward me. There we go. There he just drew toward me nice and straight and didn't try and leave or anything. Like now my longer lunge whip is in my left hand. I'm just trying to ask him to go forward with that. I'm working on a little bit of steering. That's what I want the draw for. So I want him to draw toward me, and then I can push and use one whip to kind of push him one way, and then vice versa. So I can lift my right whip and kind of push him to the left, and then the other way as well. So then I have that direction too. So I can really use that whip to steer him on the ground, and then if I want to, under saddle too. So that was really nice. I'm just gonna do a little desensitizing here. He's definitely getting the hang of the drawing. This is his third lesson in the round pen, and you can go back and watch the first one, and he didn't want to draw at all. He just wanted to stand there and kind of get tight and stare at you. So this is looking a lot better. So I'm just gonna rub on him and hang out with him and end him on a good note, and then we'll work a little bit more tomorrow.